You ever get in the truck and not even turn the radio on for like a couple hours because of how fucked up your day was? That's me today. I'm gonna do a story time. So I've been working at a compressor station. I posted some of this stuff in some other videos and some stories and whatnot. Essentially, it was a 16-inch main. I had to do a riser, weird angle, come above ground, run for 80 foot, jump back in the ground, go back over, do a bypass, yada yada yada. Elevations were crazy different. It's a lot of technical stuff. Cutting fittings, rolling fittings, like, it's not for the faint of heart, and honestly, there's very few people that I even know that can do this stuff, okay? Because a lot of you guys are just welders and don't want to like do anything else. But regardless, make some tie-ins yesterday. Snowing fucking crazy. Everything fit like a glove, perfect. One of my welds, well, let me back up. I had this piece that was a riser coming out into a valve set, dropped down in the ground. I don't know, I think it ended up being, at that elevation, it ended up being like 6 foot roughly. And then 90, like a 13 foot pump, 90, with another like 20 foot pump into another riser that went above ground. Okay. When they dug the ditch the other day, what I had accounted for was to build this in one piece and drop it in. Well, I had all my risers built, yada yada yada, everything's good. Then they start digging ditch. Well, when they start digging ditch, they come into a hot line and some conduit that was live. Perfect. So I had to reconfigure all the stuff and ended up I had to make 2 tie-ins because they wanted to go below the conduit but above the hot line. Not that big of an issue, but now it's obviously more of a pain in the ass. So cut the stuff apart, reconfigure. I get my first riser. I had to build it in 2 sections at this point. So this was essentially flange, pump, 90, pump down into the ground, 90, with a 12 or 13 foot pump on there. That was one piece. My next piece was going to be, well, there was a 90 on that other piece. Okay, the next piece would have been like a 20 foot piece, 90 riser coming back out of the ground, 90 flange. So I had to put it in 2 pieces, and then the tie-ins, I had to make 2 different tie-ins because the roll on the flange, to get that, it was just like, not impossible, but it was a lot of extra steps that didn't need to take for the time that I had. So I'm like, you know, I'll make that one in place. That was my original plan, to kind of roll that wherever I needed to, and then that would have been it. But now at this point, I have a tie-in down at the 90 where the kind of the PI meets each other, and when I went to tie this in, I could only get to the top quarter, like just like the top. The bottom was in the fucking mud, in the water. Go figure. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll weld the top, I'll beat it, hot pass it, and flush it out like as much as I can get, which ended up being probably, I don't know, maybe 55 to 60% of the entire weld. anyone that's done this long enough knows that you can do what I'm about to say, as long as an inspector isn't there that's being a dickhead. But I welded the top. I didn't cap the top because when you're flush, you're not adding any more support to the weld. So I flushed everything out. We unbolted it from the flanges, picked it up enough out of the water, out of the mud, all that, so I can weld underneath. Okay, that was a motherfucker. Like, not a good time, because the ditch originally was not dug out for really a bell hole in that corner, because it was meant to just fit right in. So guy I work with, he scraped it out best he could. I mean, I'm not a picky welder, so if I can see it, I'm gonna weld it, kind of thing, as long as I can fit there. It's just, guys, it is what it is. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. Sometimes you're able to, sometimes you're fucking not. I rarely bitch about that kind of stuff because I don't really ask for much, and you can make shit happen if you've done it long enough. Regardless. So, get that one done yesterday. Get this other, the 90 roll, which was at ground level, like literally at ground level. So they scraped it out. I ended up making that one like kind of fucked up too, but whatever. All of this stuff fit like a glove. Like, I mean, perfectly. Like, came out great. My job today was to essentially come in, finish one little spool piece, which is an 8-inch spool piece, 600-pound flange on either side to finish tying both sides of the facility in. Mind you, I'm the only welder on this project, so it's just me. So today my goal was to get that spool piece done, to finish tying both sections in, which were both challenges in themselves. And then I had to make a couple supports. Good, easy day. Thought it was going to be an early in, early out kind of thing. Little did I know what I was going to run into today. So now, after everything fit great, last week's stuff fit fucking brilliant. Like, I'm not saying my head swelled up at all, because I like, you do this long enough, you don't really care, but like, it's always a good feeling, right? Coming today, and they had phase array out there today with me. I think there was 21 welds, we'll say. 8-inch welds, all 8-inch. 375 all, nothing big. I know who the tech is. I've worked with him for the past year, on and off, quite a bit. Enough to text the guy back and forth several times, like even outside of work. Like, pretty cool with each other, right? Comes in there today. This is not blaming him. I'm not above getting repairs, but moral of the story, I caught 4 repairs. 4. No spot bigger than an inch. On the one weld, there was 2 different spots, but again, they were no bigger than an inch on either side. Either way, we all know how the codes work. Inch is a lot, so it's like it's very focused areas is what I'm getting at. All of the calls except for one were lack of fusion. Now, don't get this confused with IP. I'm not talking about IP, I'm talking about lack of fusion. So in the hot pass or in the fill, which I wasn't filling, I was beating, hot passing, and capping. In there somewhere, got hit with fucking 4 of them tonight. Now, I'm not above repairs. I've had my fair share. There's not a single person on here that can talk to me about repairs probably and get me excited one way or the other. It's part of it. I don't get bent out of shape about them. I don't like them, but I don't get bent out of shape. It does not mess up my mind frame whatsoever. I will not sleep differently at the slightest bit. I flat out don't care. But where I'm confused on all this is the tech has said that over the past couple weeks, there has been so many of these spots coming up randomly on guys that he's shot welds for a while. He said those guys are catching him also. Now, I've had the same box of rods open for the past 2 or 3 weeks. The welds that were all but one, all of the welds but one were jack stand welds, like no problem whatsoever. 2 of them were rollouts. So I'm having a massively hard time wrapping my mind around what the fuck happened. I can justify fucking up, having a bad day. Normally when I have a bad day, you'll see it on like 2-inch. That's normally when it's like fucking Christmas tree lit up and like, hey, whatever. It's 2-inch. But 8-inch, I've never had this many repairs on 8-inch, especially at one time. Especially after coming off some really, really fucking tough welds. And then like getting hit with this. So I fixed them. There was no problem. I gutted them. He's like, he told me, he said it's in the sidewall, so it's lack of fusion within the weld, right? Again, not IP. So I fix my repairs differently because I've had this happen too many times where you'll fix something and then they'll say, oh, well, it must have been deeper, you didn't get it. So when I have a repair, I'm typically gutting that motherfucker and not even thinking twice. I don't care. Like, it doesn't take that much longer to put a bead in, grind it, you know, like it's not that much more time, but it is a lot more time to roll back out, get your shit figured out, heat it up, yada yada yada. It's a lot more time that I don't feel like doing. So I gut them and sell them back up. But what I'm getting at is, it was a fucked up day today. Another thing that I'm getting at, is very confused on why this happened. And I'm not above repairs at fucking all. Like, put out enough welds, you're gonna get them, right? That's not what this conversation is about. So, really not interested in some kid saying, oh, if you ain't welding, you ain't getting repaired. Like, I know that. Like, I live this. I know. Well aware. What I am interested in hearing from anyone is if you are hearing about this or running into this. Not many people are good out there and say, oh, I've got repairs. Like, fuck me, right? But I'm curious because I'd like to get to the bottom of it. Maybe I'm becoming lazy. Definitely possible, but I don't know, something seems like it's off. Especially how sporadic some of this stuff is. It's not even like it's none of these were on the side, which I'm very fucking confused about. Normally, like, this stuff would be on your side, but it's happening like 2 o'clock, where you're already fired up and running. And And like I said, the 2 of them were rollout welds. And if you've done rollout welds enough, like, you know that you're fucking hammering heat and iron into that stuff. So it's a very rare call to get that kind of weld. But again, I am not looking for sympathy. I don't fucking want it. I don't care for it. But talk about a fucked up day. Yeah, I've had that. And talk about not being above repairs. I'm not that guy either. But yeah, let me know if you guys are hearing or running into this at all, because like I said, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but he's saying it's going around and it's been happening like crazy. He seemed to think it was because of the weather, which makes no sense at all, especially if it's within the weld. Unless you walk away for 45 minutes, it's not going to happen. You're pouring heat into this stuff. It's not going to matter if it's cold out or not. Even when, preheat or not, like you're going to be running. It's not thick stuff. It's not like it's 888 wall or 1250 wall or something ignorant. Pretty standard stuff. So yeah, that's my fucking day. Whip-de-doo-dah. I'm heading home. Be back at it on Monday. Oh, by the way, too, for anyone that's like, oh, 3 and out. Yeah, that's not the fucking case. When you do enough good work, this shit gets swept under the rug fucking quick, okay? That's just how it is. Of course we don't want it to happen, but I haven't had this kind of shit, for one, ever happen, and 2, the gas companies that I deal with, they know something's going on. Like, this was kind of a weird fucking thing, so yeah, I still have a job. For anyone that really wants me to get run off or secretly lurks in the background, that just like is rooting for me to not win. Yeah, fuck you too. Everyone have a good day. Be safe. Talk soon.